So situated here. I'm at. I've been playing just a little bit. I like to, you know, try some things out, and then after I've tried them out, just so I can have like a fresh take on what I'm gonna do and what I'm actually gonna broadcast. So you broadcast randomly gameplay. I like to give some drop some knowledge and nuggets and try to help people to understand the game a little bit more clearly as I understand the game more clearly. So Elite Dangerous has a lot of little things going on. All right, a lot of little things, a lot of big things. You can kind of get confused, lost. You can be unsure, and the game doesn't really help you much. It doesn't really do much explaining as to like how you get this, how you get that. So you have to look outside the game for a lot of this information. A lot of the stuff I'm finding out, I'm catching from viewers of my stream who have played the game on PC, know a little bit more about it. From pouring through the game menus, from checking this Wikia app by Fandom for Elite Dangerous. That's a wealth of knowledge right there. That's a pretty good app if you're into games and they're complicated and you need some help understanding stuff. Get a Wikia app by Fandom, a Fandom powered Wikia app. Just check the game. If you look at the game's name and then Wikia after it or Wiki after it, Wikia, and then in your app store or whatever, and then you'll find it. And it's a great place to look at some stuff. Unless you want to see it, you may not see it in game. You know what I mean? And then of course it could be old information, but it's good. It's a good starting point to try to find out some things, and then correlate with YouTube videos or whatever gameplay videos if you really need that kind of guidance and help. So today, I want to talk to you in this stream. I want to kind of go over how to gain the faction ships. So a lot of people ask me, "Oh, you're gonna try to chase the faction ships. You're gonna try to go after the faction ships." And I was like, I don't know. Eventually, I'm looking at them. Well, I'm not looking at them, but I'm looking side-eyed, kind of like, I don't know. Like, I don't understand why you're asking me this. Why don't you go search through the faction ships? But no, the faction ships are pretty. They're bigger, they're better, they're badder, whatever. I don't know about all that. I have no idea. I haven't really looked at the stats of the faction ships or anything about that. I got the Asp Wasp, no, the Asp Explorer, my bad. And I'm pretty set on this ship. This is pretty much going to be my ship for a while. It's fast. It's got good maneuverability. Maybe not fast, but it's got good maneuverability. And then when you get the mods right, it can jump pretty far. And then, it's got plenty of space for cargo. It's got plenty of space for passengers if you want to switch up your mod set. It's got plenty of hardpoint space. Enough. I was in a Viper MK4. I went up against an Asp Explorer, that non-player character, mind you, that had a novice rank, or was it competent? Maybe it was. It might have been master. No, it was competent. I think it was competent. Could not do anything. No, it was expert. It was expert because he was taking out my systems with his hard points. So though I was like, I couldn't get behind him. I couldn't get a shot on him. I couldn't get him in my sights. That was pretty much before I knew how to fly, or knew some tricks. Now I know some tricks, and I don't run into that problem. But now it's kind of like the asp is kind of like the asp would have been good for me back when I didn't know what I was doing, because it's really good on turns and things. But now that I know what I'm doing, I wish I had my old ship set up, because I had the mods all on it. You know, it was as high as I can get it with the stats, and it was good. It was a good ship. I just couldn't get people in front of it to shoot. So now I know, you know, and I'll go over that in this vid. But I also, so I want to go over, you know, how to go about getting a ship, a faction ship. I want to kind of do more than touch on it. I am nowhere. I don't believe I'm close to getting a faction ship, so I can't really say, oh, I'm gonna get you one right here. You're gonna see it in the broadcast. However, I'm making progress towards it. Also, along with the faction ships, I guess we can go ahead and throw in permits and things like that. So this is like a basic overview, and you can. This is I'm gonna try to generalize it so it fits all of the, you know, the unlocking of the permits to the systems, to the faction ships, and that's pretty much it. Those two, and then this kind of ties into the faction development a little bit, not much, but a little bit. But anyway, and then I also want to touch on basic gameplay, so basic aspects of gameplay. So I kind of explained what you're seeing. I didn't really explain, you know, in one of my previous streams. You have to watch all the way through. Sorry, it's like 6 hours, but I'm trying to shorten it. So that's why I'm kind of touching base on that, because it wasn't something I talked about in the front. So yeah, so basic gameplay overview, and then that should be it in this stream. That's all I would like to talk about. But if anybody pops in, you know, like and subscribe, leave a comment, you know, talk to me, let me know what you think, you know, let me know if I'm helpful, because I don't want to just waste my time on this game trying to help people if it's not really helping people. Well, somebody already told me that it helped them, so I guess if I can help one lowly commander in the galaxy attain something of value from this game, then I have done my civic duty. Okay, that's enough of that. Alright, so we'll start with we'll start with the faction stuff, since I'm already at a port. Alright, so what is a faction ship? Let me see if I can find one in here. I don't think this place has one. It doesn't even have a shipyard, so you're not gonna find. If you look at this stream, you go to Ford Ring, or you search whatever system this is in your search bar, and you come to this system, don't come here expecting to find a faction ship. You're not gonna. This place is not gonna help you. It'll help you get there, but it's not gonna help you buy one. The ships are in the ports. So if I go to a faction controlled or a faction exploited system, or like a federation, then I can find the federation ships. If I go to the imperial controlled system, then I can find imperial ships there at those shipyards. So, you know, that's another thing to keep in mind. So when you are able, you reach the rank or whatever to unlock the ship and go and get the ship, you're gonna have to go to that faction's shipyard, a shipyard in that faction's space, and then find it there. I suggest finding a high-tech um, port, a high-tech port, a port with a high-tech economy, because those usually have, in my experience, they have a lot of selection. But a port with a port that's either in a boom state, or a port that's high tech that's either in a boom state or a high population count, or mixed in with some tourists, in a tourist system. So if you can find high tech and military or high tech and tourists, you'll probably most likely, which I doubt you'll find high tech and tourists, but you never know. Let me know where that is, because high tech markets trade a lot of stuff to tourists. You know, like industrial and high tech, you'll find commodities in those markets that go to tourist markets. So that's where you make your money, as a hint, in the trading. So anyway, so keep that in mind when you're actually looking for the ship, and you've made the progress and you can go out and get one. You'll find them. Hopefully, you'll find them. I'm assuming from my current gameplay experience, I've found them at high tech, and I'm in a Federation alliance, so I'm in their space, and so I'm finding the Federation ships at these high tech spaceports and space docks. So how do we make progress toward the ship, you ask? You know, because you gotta raise your rank or something like that. All right, so here's your rank. All right, I've made some progress, so I know what I'm talking about. Yeah. All right, so in the Federation, that's what I'm allied with. You don't have to be allied with anybody. All right. First and foremost, the gaining the faction ships have nothing to do with the power play. Well, they're not the same thing. Okay, the power play is something a little different. You get different rewards for that. So if you make progress in the power play, you probably won't be making progress in your Federation, in your faction rank. Okay, and also your faction's reputation is not the same thing as your faction rank either. So if you're making progress in your reputation, which I was, you may not be making progress in your Federation rank. All right, so that's important to know. So this is kind of gonna you need to be more specific about your mission choices if you want to progress in one of these areas. So, you know, I went over how you progress in your alliance or your faction that you pledge allegiance to in a previous stream. So check that out and you'll find out how to progress in that and what that's all about. So I'm not talking about galactic powers here. Alright, so what are you talking about? I'm not talking about the Federation reputation, because what that is, how you progress in your Federation's reputation, is just by doing Federation missions for the Federation, or Federation activities. You go to systems out in the great beyond out there. You go out into deep space, find some new systems, get the trophy. Hey, I found a stellar body. I got the Kepler's Eye trophy. All right, come back to your pledged system, or you come back to a system of anybody's faction. Don't, you know, make sure it's an allied system with one of the galactic powers, and then you turn in your information. Let's say, since I'm Federation, I go to a Federation controlled starport, turn in my exploration data, my reputation with that galactic power, with that superpower, the Federation, will go up. Okay, as well as the controlling faction, that reputation too will go up. So, and you get the credits. So keep that in mind. Like activities like that, you bring in commodities to the market, and it's a federation controlled market. Right, it's a federation controlled system, and the controlling it's a federation controlled system. You'll make some progress. All right, with the this, it'll be slight, but you'll make some progress with your reputation with your federation. Um, on this screen, on the superpowers. Okay, so I'm cordial. And that makes a big difference, because the more reputation, the better your reputation is with the superpower, the more opportunities you'll have to advance in the ranked. All right, so okay, so I'm just gonna go to the mission board. You can go to the mission board, passenger board, either way, but the main, the biggest way, I guess, or the most direct way, other than, you know, stopping at every, you can, I mean, literally, you can stop at every undiscovered signal source, go there, if it's cargo, whatever, do it, collect all the items there, and then bring them here, use them, you know, if they're, especially if they're commodities, sell them here, and then you can make progress on the controlling faction in the system's reputation. Also, the superpower that's being controlled here, their reputation. Now, if so happens the controlling faction is a superpower control, and as a faction that's allied with a certain superpower, then that reputation will go to that superpower too. Okay, so if you know what I mean. All right, so so yeah, so for instance, this faction is controlled by the Federation, is controlled by Turix Corporation up in the upper left, Ford Ring. Right, this place is controlled by Ford Ring. All right, which is this place is Ford Ring, controlled by Turix Corporation, which Turix Corporation is a Federation faction. All right, so if I sell my commodities here, it's going to increase my reputation with this controlling faction and the Turix Corporation, and it's going to increase my reputation with the Federation. Okay, if this was a Federation controlled system, it would affect that too. It would give me some reputation for it being a controlled system, and it's slight. It's probably it's just minute. It's just something that just happens. Okay, it just happens. You're not gonna. I don't advise you to, you know, go hard on it, because it's gonna be a hard grind to do it that way. The better grind is to do the missions. You get far more reputation than selling commodities at a market. Or if you do bring in some exploration data here, bring in a lot of exploration data. So when you turn in your exploration data, like if you want to use exploration data to progress with anybody, any faction or anything, get a lot of it. Okay, get a lot of it. Get, like, you know, if you can get 3 million credits worth of reputation, get that much. That'll jump your reputation up like maybe 2 levels. All right, you'll go from neutral to friendly real quick. Okay, I did that. I did that at another station. I was neutral. I went, explored a little bit, brought it back, and sold all my exploration data to this one station, and that station just so happened to be Federation controlled, and that controlling faction boosted my reputation up to friendly with the controlling faction, and kind of boosted my reputation up with the superpower close to the cordial. It didn't, it put it into the cordial state. So your superpower reputation will grow slower than the individual factions. So you'll progress faster in reputation with the factions much faster than you do with the superpowers. So that's cool. You know, it is what it is. Makes sense. So keep that in mind when you're trying to progress your reputation with the faction. Now, all right. So we were going to talk about rank. How do we get to rank up? Because that's what the ships are tied to, right? Your alliance. So whatever superpowers, whatever rank you are with the super. Okay, so you don't have to, again, you don't have to ally yourself with any superpower to do this. So you can unlock the faction ships without touching the power play. So you don't have to pledge allegiance to Felicia Winters to get Federation ships. You just don't have to. All right. It doesn't even help. Okay, it doesn't really affect it. All right. What affects it is the reputation you have with the Federation. Well, I guess it could affect it. I mean, if you're an allegiance with a faction, you start doing that work with that raises the reputation. So, you know, you'll start getting reputation. So that's how your alliance will, you know, who you pledge allegiance to will affect your rank, is through raising the reputation, which increases your opportunity to raise rank, which makes sense. If your superpower is like, if the Federation's cordial with you and you're cool, then they're gonna give you a little bit more opportunity to raise in their ranks. Now, if you're, you know, straight up allied with them, if this cordial goes from cordial to the highest one, I think is allied, then you're gonna have so many opportunities to raise in rank. You can, you know, be the top dog at that point. You be an admiral or whatever it is in the Federation Navy. Okay, so that's in the Federation. So that's what it's tied to. All right, so your rank. What is that? What is? We know what your reputation is. That goes without saying. That's self-explanatory. What about the rank? All right, of the superpowers. And can you be the same rank in all of these? Yeah, you can be. The reason why you can't in the Alliance is because the Alliance doesn't have ranks. That's it. I don't know if they have a ship that you can get. I don't know where it's at, where it's based, but the Federation and Empire, those are the ones that have ranks. Alright? And those are the ones that have ships that I know of that you can earn through rank. Alright, so I'm working in the Federation. That's what I'm working in. So that's the example. But the same process will, all this information will work for the Empire as well. All right, same thing. It's just different words, different ranks. All right, so my rank, the rank is for the Federation anyway. I don't know, it's different for the Empire, but the Federation has a navy. All right, so it's the Federation Navy. Okay, and those are the ranks that you're rising in. Okay, you're actually part of. I'm a cadet in the Federation Navy. All right. Before that, you're just a private. You're part of a private pilot organization, or a pilot organization. It's kind of like a kind of like oh my gosh, I'm having a brain fart. Kind of like a union. It's I think it's called a union. So you're part of a union, right? And of pilots, and it's its own entity, but it doesn't. The game doesn't really talk much about it. I don't know. I've picked this up in the wiki, so in the wiki app for this game. So that's kind of like your commander is a part of that organization. So you're part of that organization. That's you. So you're part of this third party union type association of pilots, or organization of pilots who get contracted out as mercenaries for the Federation or the Empire or the Alliance or independent factions or other system factions or whatever. And it's to your choosing. All right, so it's done through mission work, and it's done through passenger stuff, and it's done through just whatever you find. It's done that way. So it's not like it's not like you're contracted to any of these things. You're not obligated to do it. You're not contracted to do it, but you can do your own path. Hence, Elite Dangerous. That's basically it's basically the storyline. You're a pilot for hire, and you're a commander in this private firm that gets mercenaried out to all these other superpowers that trying to rule the galaxy. Boom. All right, throw some aliens in there, and you've got Elite Dangerous in a nutshell. All right. Okay, that's all fine and good. So what about the rank? How do I get the ship? I just want to get the ship. Okay. All right. Okay. The Federation Navy will give you your ship. That's the rank. That's the system for the Federation. For the Empire is a different type of navy or whatever. It's a different type of organization. I don't know. All right, I don't know anything about empires, like their inner workings and stuff. So I don't know their military force. I don't know anything. But the Federation has a navy, and I'm a cadet in that navy. All right, you start out as none, you go to recruit, and then you go to cadet. Now, in order to unlock the Federation's ship, I need to be a rank of I don't know what rank you have to be. However, you have to be, and I think it's one of the higher ranks. I believe it's past petty officer. I'm not sure. If you know what rank it is, put it in the comments for people to look up. But look out for it in the comments if you do find out. But you're gonna raise your rank to the rank, and then you'll unlock access to the ship. Also, petty officer, I know for sure, will give you a permit for the Sol system. So it'll give you a Sol system permit so that you can actually go into the Sol system and land on planet Earth. I don't know if you can land on it, but you can go there. Okay. So that's how you raise your rank there. All right. That's what the rank is all about. Now, how do you go about raising your rank though? All right. So I get it. All right. I'm raising my rank in the Federation Navy, and after a certain rank, I'll get the ship. I'll get access to the ship, and I believe you still have to pay for it with credits, but it's all good. And then I don't know. Don't quote me on that. But do some research for yourself. But I do know the permit is given to you. The Sol system permit is given to you when you get petty officer in the Federation Navy, and I believe they go actual ranks, maybe real life ranks. I don't know. You might want to do some research on that. Check the wiki app. All right. So, how do we raise the rank? What do I do to raise my rank? Because I know for a while there I had none on all of this, and I was like cordial, and I had none, and I was like, why am I not progressing in my rank? I'm doing faction. I've pledged allegiance. I'm doing all of the federal missions. All of the federal stuff. I pulled my earbud out. But why am I not? Well, it's because you have to do Federal Navy missions. All right. I will try to look for one. I have to go back to the last place I was at though to find it, which isn't that far. It's like a couple jumps, so I'll go there and see if I can find one. But you'll find them in the mission boards. Find them in the passenger boards too. But sorry for the quality. Okay. Alright, you see this. Alright, so if you've noticed, the missions have very specific names. Okay, they have specific names for their mission titles. And for instance, this faction, if you look at its current state, it's in a state of famine. So the missions it has available right now are famine data needs transportation, famine aid needed. So these missions are famine related missions. Alright, famine. Pilfer fruits and vegetables. They're in a famine. They're gonna need fruits and vegetables. It makes sense. Famine aid needed, units of tea. They need food, animal meat, algae, acquisition contract. It's all famine related. Alright, pay attention to that, because that's how you'll find out if it's a Federal Navy mission or not. Industry, it's a industry needs the thing. I think this is an industry port, I don't know, but black box salvage for refinery. Clean out the system, Silver State system, Century Skimmer. It's just saying what faction it is or whatever. Black box, and if it's in a famine, it'll say famine black box salvage or whatever, or whatever its state it's in. It could be boom. I know you've probably seen a lot of boom state missions. I'm trying to find that. Where is that? Alright, yeah. So you see, maybe sometimes they'll say boom data needs transportation, and it's in this boom state. That's what that is for. Also, they will pop up Federation Navy data needs transportation, or Federation Navy needs 6 units of fish, and you'll find those there. And so when you do those missions progress your rank. All right, when you do those missions, I've done a few of them. That's why I'm cadet. But I'm gonna try and see if I can't show you one. I think I'm done here. I believe it's probably the same thing as a passenger lounge. I'm not sure. I don't know. No, it doesn't look like it. I mean, it'll affect your reputation though, so that's good. So you'll get more. And again, the higher your reputation is, the more Federation missions will pop up at different places, at different Federation places, or Empire places, or whatever. Alright, so I just gotta make sure I'm finished here. Turning in bounties too affects the reputation of that system. I forgot to set a destination.
Ship released. Engines engaged.
That's a good thing for your basic gameplay. Bookmarks. Bookmark your stuff, and then make a little note next to it. Like I'll show you. Like put a little note next to it, like right here. How you can do that is edit. Go to the bookmark it over here, and then I'll do one. Bookmark it, and then the name is HIP 36485 HIP. It's in alphabetical order. Alright, so there's the bookmark. Go to it. You can delete it. You can plot a route to it. You can edit it. And then just type it in, you know. Put the J on the end and save it. And it saves what you type. You can rename the whole thing. You can erase the whole thing if you want. You need to have a value. Alright, so it won't let you do it. Alright, so G. So, you know, you can rename it and it'll always take you there. But what I did was every time I go to a spot, because see, sometimes when you look at a spot, it gives you like multiple commodities. And this goes under the basic gameplay. It gives you multiple multiple economies, right? So, you know, sometimes it's just one, sometimes it's two, and it could be the top or the bottom one. This one right here is high tech. It's the bottom one. You know, it's not refinery. I thought it would be the top, but this one is the bottom. So to make that distinction, I went ahead and to make that distinction easier, I went ahead and bookmarked these places I go to, and then I put whether it's high tech, whether it's got good ship upgrades, whether it needs exploring, you know, which economy it is, which market it is, you know, if it's got a lot of ships in there, you know, if it's for one of the engineers, if it's like an engineer destination or something, like you know, a place where I can go to get materials to unlock the engineer or whatever. I mean, all of it, you know. I some of them I don't have, but that was before I started marking it like this. But yeah, I make it a point to, even the planets with atmospheres, I was gonna do that so I can quickly, you know, explore those planets and, you know, see them. You know, I haven't landed on a planet with atmosphere yet, so yeah, just anything, you know, anything you wanna try to organize or whatever to try to find something. This is a good way to do it. I even got Planet Vulcan, which I didn't know was a planet in this game, but it's actually a planet, or it's a system, one of the two. And it's got Leonard Nimoy starport and stuff. So I think that's awesome. You know, stuff like that is in the game, and it's pretty cool. So I do that. Like, that's something basic you can do to help you out. You know, easily find stuff. I'm hoping I can get all of the economies listed, so I'll have places that I can go to for trade or whatever. So big help, big idea right there. So I'm gonna go back here, this high tech market. I'm gonna go to Alexiv, whatever.
Cannot comply. Landing gear retracted. Frameshield drive charging.
I mean, you can't. I mean, it's like turning on a car. You know, you can't go if the car's not on, right?
3, 2, 1.
All right. I linked my phone, so with the PlayStation app, so anybody who wants to leave a comment can do that. And
Fuel scooping. Fuel scoop disengaged.
okay. Here's a tip. I know me. I'm tired of rolling up on a spot, right? A station like this round where we have to fly inside of it. I'm tired of go into it and I'm like behind it and I have to fly all the way around. Like it gets rather tedious. So it started to deter me from, coming to stations like these. But I found a way to kind of, and I don't know if this is like normal, but I found a way to kind of come in so that I'm always facing the entrance and just can fly right in. So if you look at as you're going to it, you can look at the image of it right there on the lower left. And if I could turn it around, like as you face your ship, you can turn it around and you can find where the opening is. There's the opening. So I'm gonna need to be facing this way when I get to the place. Alright, so that the opening is facing me, so I can see it on that image. So what I'm gonna do is, you can always fly straight to it. I did that for the longest time, just flying straight to the thing, but you don't have to, I mean, you're free to fly any direction. That's just the log, alright? You might get there, the shortest point, the shortest path between two objects is a straight line, but, it's okay if you fly around here. And it'll help you with your slowing down process. You can kind of curve it in there. So it's on the other side of this thing. I need to be facing the star. So I'm gonna go ahead and fly around here. I'm gonna slow down a little bit. So by the time I come around, I'm facing the entrance. I'm using a lot of yaw. Oh, okay, so I have to come down here too. Come up on it. Alright. That's kinda good enough. This might be as good as I'm gonna get it from right now. Okay. Come down more. There we go. There we go. I like that. Slow it down for the gravity. Slow it down some more for the gravity, because once you get it lined up, you don't want to spend the time trying to fly around it, trying to line it back up again. So slow it down enough so the gravity doesn't affect your ship. Different size planets have different gravities, different ship sizes get affected by that gravity differently, so know your ship. And then doing it this way, you also see more ships headed towards the thing, because they're doing the same thing too, like non-player characters. So, if you want to find, you're a pirate and you want to find a shipping lane or whatever, you want to rob somebody, this is one of the ways you can do it. I'm not a pirate, I'm no thief, so but I can interdict those ships. I don't know if I have it on. I ain't got time for all that. Alright, I'm almost there. I'm gonna give it a little bit more speed. Alright, I let it play out a little bit before I disengage. Bam! Look at that beautiful opening. Almost like the picture. It's not exact because, this is just a general image, but that's the way you would do docks like this, or any dock you have to fly into. Docks that you dock on the outside, it kind of doesn't, unless you memorize the layout and where the pads are on the thing, it's really not going to help much. And I could just fly right in there, but because I have a little thing called an auto dock, I get to show you guys how to use that. Auto dock. If you have that equipped and the dock you're at can auto dock, has the auto dock capabilities, you can check that in the nav, in the system map as one of the facilities. If it has it listed there, then you're good. If it doesn't, then you're out of luck. You have to do it yourself. But this one, I think, has it. So once all you have to do, you don't do anything. Just slow down to a stop, request docking, and then it'll automatically go. Put you on queue.
Proceed to landing pad 07. Clear for automated approach vectoring.
I wouldn't turn your head in this. It's been a little buggy. That's one of the bugs. I clicked it and like makes me look. So I wouldn't click the head thing, but it plays a little classic music while you do it. This is cool.
1,000 meters from touchdown.
Landing gear deployed.
Nice little sounds. Plays different classical music, by the way, so that's nice.
Touchdown. Ship secured.
Okay, I have my lights on, so I'll turn them on. Alright, and then it just docks you. Leaving though, it does not automatically help you leave, so you gotta have skills there. So that's how you work auto dock. If you don't slow down, it'll tell you to slow down, so you gotta slow down to pretty much a stop, and then it'll automatically kick in and take you on in like that. Okay, so now I'm gonna look for another faction, Federation Navy. Look for another Federation Navy mission. I don't think I'm gonna find one. Yeah. Which is a-okay. It's not a problem. I'll just have to raise my rank. I never do these because it gives you a set time for when they're in, and I'm never at the time. So it means I'm gonna have to get it now, hold on to it until 12 on the in-game clock, and then go to this system and meet them there. And I know me, I'm not gonna remember. It's gonna hit with 2 minutes left to spare, and I'm gonna be like, yeah, I'm not gonna make it. So I don't do assassination missions unless it's somebody else's. I'll do it with them, but I'm not trying to. I'm not trying to be on it like that. So this place doesn't have one, which is fine. And then the only faction in this system that has Federation only has this, so I'm not interested in that. So I will have to find another place to do missions for the Federation, which is cool. I know a spot, I guess. I know some places. Yeah, I guess you could go to any other state, any other port, but I'm gonna go to a different to a different system. But anyway, so that's what you'll do. You find missions that have the Federal Navy or Federal Navy in the title of the mission, and then do those missions to raise your rank. And once you get a certain rank, you'll get the ships, you'll get the permits, you'll get the perks, you'll get all of that. And I don't know what they are. I saw a list somewhere, but I don't know. I don't know where the list is. I have no idea. So yeah, that was a tourist spot. since I'm at a high tech, I'm gonna go to this tourist spot. Yeah, that's too far away. I mean, no, it's not, but I was working with a place. I was doing humanitarian work in this game, and I was helping a faction that had in a state of famine, and so they had a lot of little tiny missions for me to do, and then they were raising an influence and getting better. So I'm hoping that they worked out. I had like 4 or 5 missions for them, and I failed like 2 of them because I started playing with somebody else in game, and then I abandoned the rest of them. When you take on a mission and then you abandon it or fail it, it does decrease the reputation that you have with the faction. So, you know, if you don't want to do that, then just do the mission or whatever. Or it's not a big loss, and you can always gain it back with more missions. So. Or do I want to go back to Rhea? I should go back to Rhea. No, I want to stay close to my ship and stuff. I like the port. I like Alex Heave Hub because it's got a really good selection of stuff. One of my friends is giving me some messages. Hang on. Okay. Okay, so my decision making like this, like what am I gonna do? I look at where I'm at and what missions, what I want to progress in. And right now, I'm trying to progress my rank so I can get the passport, the permit to go to the Soul System. That's what I want to do. So I'm trying to progress my Federation rank. So I'm trying to do Federation missions. Also, I do need to do some superpower work. I need to do some to do that, but I'll do that later. Right now I'm doing the Federation stuff, so Federation Navy. So I'm at a, what I do is I look at where I'm at, what market I'm at, and then I try to find, I either look for missions there to do, or I try to find a Federation controlled system to do it, or I look at, I look at my list of where I've been with things here, and I try to find, well, let me find another place here that has something that my current location, I could get some commodities to trade. So I'll go off of that, Either way, since I'm at high tech, I'm gonna try to find a tourism spot close by. That's not close by. And that's close by. Blue arrow is you. Yellow arrow is what you've got selected. Just so you know. Plot a route. Now, for you guys that are just starting out, you can do fastest routes, but your frame shift drive needs to go at least past 1,000 light years for this to be a thing. All right, and then if it does say that it gives you an error of some sort, go back in your galactic map and it should redirect itself to replot a course on its own, automatically replot a course that you can actually take and go to. That's still under the fastest routes. It should do that. I do not know. I have tried it and I have seen it do it, so I'm assuming that's what it's doing. So, you know, even if you have cargo or something, like if I'm full of cargo, then it'll replot its route to fit my cargo. You know what I mean? Instead of having me go all the way out and whatnot. So, do I have cargo? Oh, I have cargo. Yeah, before you leave a spot, make sure you've emptied your ship. Alright? Because if you do some of these missions, sometimes they give you mission rewards. So, make sure you have an empty cargo when you leave. That's what I do anyway. I always make sure I have an empty cargo when I leave, or the cargo that I have is stuff I need for another mission, or I intend to sell. So let me see what I make. What kind of profits I can make here. Let's play here. If I didn't find these as a mission reward or earn these as a mission reward, I'd have made a little profit off of it. I made a big profit off of it. Alright, so this is, I went to a refinery. Yeah, I was at a refinery. Refinery refines materials, right? It refines raw materials. So that's what a refinery does, right? In some places, some refineries. So the markets that is going to benefit from refined materials, one of them is high tech, the other one is military. All right, makes sense. So I was at a refinery, so I looked for high tech stuff, and this is what I found there. I found something that had the galactic average of 11,000 credits. It was like 10,000 credits there or something like that. And so I bought 4 of them. I wish I could buy all 76,000 that this thing needs from that other place, but that other place only had 4 in stock perfectly. So there's a tip on trading. I made 5,000 credit profit off of that. Okay, this is a side hustle for me. That's trading. Trading is a side hustle for me. I don't. That's not my main gig. So now I'm at a high tech. So refinery goes to high tech, and refinery goes to high tech. Probably, maybe the most. I wouldn't say that. There's some things that go to high tech, and then there's some things that refinery goes to military. But high tech, refinery exports well to high tech, military, and industrial. Those are what you want to go for. If you're at a refinery market, trade to those other. All right, and then if you're high tech, straight up tourism. Mostly tourism. There is some agricultural things, and then there's some military things, but mostly it's tourism. So, tourism, and dependent on the port you're at. Like, this port looks really nice. It's really high tech. So you'll probably find some things for agricultural and terraforming and extraction. You know, stuff like that. So see, it's got tons of explosives. Industrial, agricultural, refinery stuff too. I mean, well, surface. Oh, well, except refinery. All surface stuff. It's a surface stabilizer, so makes sense. Read this stuff, you know. These things don't change. These things will always stay the same. These commodities are always the same commodities. the commodities themselves will not change. All right, the prices will change depending on where you go, and but they're who wants them and who produces them, they don't change. And you know, the definition over there doesn't change either if you're unsure of what they are. So um all right, so I was gonna go to a tourism spot since I'm at high tech. All right, I have a good tourism spot. I even have it in the thing, right? Yeah. Okay, so excuse me. Consumer technology would go to it goes to all, and it's illegal in prison colonies and theocracies. I don't know why theocracies, but okay. Ever evolving and changing on a board for the next generation of personal consumer devices. Be the envy of your friends as you show off the latest thing. Then get ready to upgrade. Yeah. Domestic appliances are produced by industrial. Now, if you go to industrial and you want to give to a tourism or any other place, domestic appliances way to go. Well, not really. Is one way to go. Let's see here. Evacuation shelter. Nah. I want something to say tourism. So synthetic meat. I'm good on that. Polymers. Oh. Terraforming, industrial, superconductors. Everybody needs medicines. Except for high tech, they already got medicines. They produce medicines. Here we go, metals. Metals is good because anything you find that goes to all, go ahead and look at that. That can be good because most tourism wants, some of these metals. They have a high demand. So gold is a good one. I might get a bunch of gold and take it to a tourism spot. They'll take it. Put it in their gold watches and stuff. Ooh, palladium. That one says all except for those. My app keeps disconnecting. Let's see. Oh, but I don't have that in stock. It's produced by Extraction. I got it. Oh, yeah. You only have to do the ones that are in stock. I forget. So in the supply column. All right. Well. All right. Sometimes they got the metals. Sometimes they don't. They had the metals until they didn't. That's shout out to the other guy. I want to find some place that service cotton. good. Reactive armor was good. I think I might get some non-lethal weapons in there. Which one? Yeah, they're about the same. Tourism spots could use some non-lethal weapons, right? Especially if they're non-lethal. I'm a weapons dealer.
Cargo hold at maximum capacity.
8 units. I think that'd be like 8 tons. But 8 tons of guns. Non-lethal guns. Nerf darts. 8 tons of Nerf guns. Alright. Just so you guys can see what all is in here. I should have just went to the shipyard because that's what I really wanted to show you guys. Alright, so this is what I wanted to show you guys here. Yeah, this place got 14 ships. Got the Dolphin kill bag. This is where I got my assets for. Ah, here we go. Federal assault ship. Alright. Requires Federation rank of Chief Petty Officer or higher. Alright, and then you can purchase it for the 19 cost. So that's why it's, you know, unselectable. So that's one ship. I believe they got the other one. The Federal Corvette. That's the other one. Or that's a other one. So Rear Admiral. You have to be the rank of Rear Admiral or higher to get this ship unlocked by doing Federation Navy missions. Okay? That's how you unlock the ships. That's how you go through and get the ships. Alright? I'm at a high-tech port. They have 14 ships. They got the Federal assault ship, and then they got the Federal Corvette for you right there. Alright? So that is that on that. I would love to find a mission for you guys. That means I can make some more progress in it, but you know, we'll see if I find it at the next spot. But yeah, that's how you unlock ships. Alright. Now for basic gameplay. I've already, you know, touched on a few things as far as basic gameplay is concerned. Keep those in mind. I was gonna do a pre-flight checklist, but I've done the pre-flight checklist in a couple of other videos, but in other streams. I mean,
Ship detach complete. Clear for departure.
those of you guys who don't know how to play the game, this is going to be the good part.
Landing gear retracted. Frameshift drive charging.
Way ahead is clear. Have a safe flight, Commander.
4, 3,
You have a good time too.
fuel scooping.
fuel scooping happens automatically if you have a fuel scoop in your mods. You can fly around the sun like I'm doing, full speed, guns blazing, and around 60 to 50 is where the heat starts going down. All right, where you start losing, where you're not cooking yourself around 60. Oh, let me go back in. When you look at the fuel, around 60 units per second, there is when you start, when you stop gaining, when you stop heating up. All right, if you go past that, you start heating up. All right, and depending on the size of the fuel scoop and the size of the tank and how close you are to the sun dictates how fast your fuel gets refueled. So the closer you are, the faster it gets refueled. The closer to the sun you are, the faster it gets refueled. And then the bigger the scoop and the smaller the tank, the faster it gets refueled. It does have a limit, like my fuel tank, it'll take in 126 units. I think it goes up to 126 units per second around that area, and then it'll stop climbing. You know, it'll stop taking more and more fuel in after that, and that's when you get real close, and then you start heating up very, very much with that. If I had a bigger fuel scoop, I'd probably take in more fuel at that point. I have a discovery scanner, so that big boom sound, that's what I'm doing. I'm always holding that L2 button when I enter a system. See, there it goes, 126. But I'm like heating up a lot.
Fuel scooping complete.
Same thing here. With these space stations, you can line it up. So I'm gonna go up high, kind of come around, coming on down. Of course, if you do have an auto dock, it kind of doesn't matter, but for time's sake, you know, if you got a mission that's timed, you can definitely do this, shave off some seconds on that entry. They're going way too fast. Oh shoot. No, I'm not trying to fight this guy. Alright. Kinda glad you guys saw that. Yeah, just try to fly towards the escape vector. If you get interdicted, that'll keep you from Slowing down, I swear. I have been interdicted like 3 times in a row before, 2 times in a row before. By non-player characters. I was like, man, that's crazy.